An Atlanta federal judge finds herself in the national spotlight for all the wrong reasons. A judicial investigation revealed the judge had repeatedly had sex with an Atlanta police officer in her own chambers. Let's get out to Angelique Proctor, who's been looking into this story that is getting, as we said, Angelique, national attention.
That's right. Good afternoon to you, Tom. This federal judge is still on the bench here at the courthouse, while Atlanta police say they have launched an investigation. The judge in the middle of this misconduct scandal is still on the bench here at the Richard B. Russell Federal Courthouse. The Judicial Council reprimanded the judge back in February for judicial misconduct. Last week, a special committee confirmed their decision. This all came to light because several of the judge's law clerks started complaining. The Judicial Council says in its report that the judge engaged in an extramarital affair with a high-ranking police officer. The Associated Press and Fox 5 have learned that officer is a commander with the Atlanta Police Department. The law clerks reported that the federal judge and the commander repeatedly had sexual intercourse in the judge's chambers during business hours within earshot of the clerks. The Judicial Council goes on to say when the judge was first asked about this, she lied and denied it, calling the allegations outrageous and baseless. But she later recanted and admitted to her involvement. The report indicates the commander frequented the federal courthouse in uniform during lunchtime. A special committee investigated and interviewed 6 former law clerks, reviewed surveillance footage and sign-in logs, reviewed relevant documents, emails, and text messages, and affirmed the affair and inappropriate sexual activity did in fact occur. According to the Judicial Council, the judge was privately reprimanded and agreed to write 6 letters of apology to her former law clerks, forego service as a chief judge, and indefinitely refrain from serving on any judicial conference committees. A special committee explained that it had carefully considered more severe sanctions, but decided against that because the judge corrected her false statements, ended her relationship with the commander, and had otherwise had a clean record and rendered exemplary service to the court. And this is a federal judge, which means this is a lifetime appointment, and the only way she can be removed is by Congress. That is the very latest from the federal courthouse. Angelique Proctor.
Sounds like something right out of a TV series. Angelique, thanks.